My name is Vincent Platenkamp, and I'm 59 years old. So I was born in 1950, which means that my youth have been the 50s and the 60s, and the 70s also as a student. And that's, I think, important for who I am, to start with. A network society implies that we are living in a world where different types of networks are influencing one another. So we live, as individuals, you live in different types of network. Let's say some 100 years ago, you lived in one network. You were born in that network, and you became ill in that network. You got married, and you got your friends and so on, and you suffered in that network, and you had villages around you in that network, and you died in it. That's your network. So in that sense, it was very close communities, and it was very clear what was happening. And everything had its place, and everything was organized and arranged, and had extra meaning. In most cases, extra religious meaning. Christianity was, of course, very dominating, and that was the world. And if you're interested in meaning, also the meaning was very clearly defined. And also identity, for example, was clearly defined. It was clear who you are, very clear, in close communities and in that type of networks. Nowadays, we live in different types of networks at the same time. And that poses questions. We are identifying ourselves with different types of roles and positions we have. We are working in that community, we have a family there, we have friends there, and we are working and we are seeing things that that belong to another different network. We are part of virtual networks and so on. And we are identifying with different types of network at the same time in one individual. So the question from that point of view, who you are, is a very crucial one. What does it mean? Is a crucial question. It has become questioned who you are. It has become an issue, whereas in a closed community it's not. So it's part of our society. Because we live in that network society, this becomes a much more important question. And that's why it's so interesting, because it's related to our everyday life. About the concept of Imagineering, I think it's a very important concept in a world where more and more people are looking for values and meaning, because that has become more questionable the more we live in a society where you don't belong to very self-evident networks anymore. So in that type of society, it's a good thing to think about how you could create concepts that are appealing enough to have an attraction for people on the long term and are meaningful for people. That's what's most interesting me. So I'm not maybe less interested in the business aspect at first sight, and more interested in the meaning aspect, but it's related, of course.
So for the last 2 days, we had this guest lecturer talking about the network society, and it's been amazingly interesting. We went in depth, in philosophical and psychological things of societies and how are they connected and related to one another, and he really kind of got us into very interesting and insightful concepts and ideas throughout the first day and a half. Even though we weren't exactly connecting it with Imagineering, but I think in the end he really made a very good point about how the in-depth, how do I live in a network and how do I connect with someone else or a brand or a company and make a meaningful value out of it. And I really enjoyed this kind of inner insights.